The chief had begged my father-in-law to move here. He was from Colby. And he hated to leave his land because he didn't want to come over here. That's when my husband was only 8 or 9 years old. They moved over here. But they really begged him to come, to save this as a reserve. If he didn't come, they could have took it away. And they were ready to move the 3 homes away from here. So it's really different now from when I first got here in '47.
People here is the people that's left over from the smallpox epidemic in I think it was the 1800s. After everyone left this area because they blamed those little caterpillars that have webs on trees. Well, what my mother told me is that there's some longhouses down on the beach, and people used to use this place as a pit stop, I guess you could call it. The people that traveled to Songhees, which is the Parliament buildings, they parked down on the beach, and they made their way to Victoria from here.
Malahat really has multiple dialects that it uses. The big house or longhouse dialect is Hulkaminam, but there are speakers in the community that have Sinchothan roots, Samis roots, and others. I think it reflects the diversity of the nation in terms of where folks originated, or their family ties, if you like, to other nations. Right? There are a lot of imposed kind of borders and boundaries that divided families and divided communities. And Malahat, I think, represents the result of that, where you have families who are now Malahat and have linkages to Nia Bay and to Washington, to Cowichan, to Saanich. The facilities are called Kwanew, Kwasun, and that's loosely translated as catch a star, catch a shooting star. And the facility was born out of our comprehensive community plan. But our community comprehensive plan was intended to focus on what are our strengths and what are the things we can work at to build a big, a bold, a beautiful Malahat nation. We would do as a nation and as an administration should focus on the strengths of what it means to be Malahat. What are the values? Where do we come from? What does that mean? How does that translate today in terms of the programs and services that we offer? The nation is rich and vibrant in its language and its culture and its history, particularly in its connection to the land and its resources. It's a beautiful place, it's a beautiful community, it's a beautiful people.
Not too many people know our reserve is even here, and especially with the Brentwood Ferry going right through the heart of our community. A lot of people probably don't realize they are going through a reserve and a community.
Our comprehensive community plan was informing us that we needed a place, a space for the community to gather, a place that could incorporate all of those, the values and the priorities of the nation. And what that allowed us to do was to plant the seeds, if you like, for what was clearly an important initiative in this community, the need for a literacy center, a library, and a place for the community to gather and to create a learning resource facility or a learning resource place.
When the Honorable Stephen Point became Lieutenant Governor, one of his aides-de-camp was a Rotarian named Bob Blacker, and they started discussing libraries for remote communities. And that evolved into what became known as the Government House Rotary Literacy Community Building Project, when the opportunity to work with the Malahat First Nations on this cultural and Education Resource Center came about, we jumped at it. I mean, it was just a no-brainer. We started engaging in earnest in June of this year, and now we're just doing what we can in the way of fundraising, support, in-kind work projects, and trying to help with their auction.
So what's resulted now is a building roughly around 3,000 square feet. That is a partnership of Rotary International, the local Rotary Club in Mill Bay, the South Cowichan District, Britco, and Malahat, but also some 30 plus other businesses and supporters in the Malahat area who have all come together to help us realize this facility, to realize this dream of creating Kwanew Kwasun, so that our young folks in Malahat, and all folks in Malahat, can reach up and catch that shooting star. A superstructure that is essentially timbers and framing that will look much like a big house would or a longhouse would. Inside, it'll essentially be two spaces. One will be an open space, which will resemble the main floor inside of a big house. So it'll be an open space with benches and seating on both sides, and that center space is intended to be the community gathering place, or the classroom setting, if you like, for learning and education purposes, or to be used in any form or function that the community wants. For the back half of the building will actually be the learning center. That'll be the space where the early childhood education program is undertaken. It'll actually be a composite of manufactured modules from Britco that will be finished, and so there'll be a kitchen and bathrooms and an open space where folks can get online and be connected. It's actually located on the upper half of the Malahat Nation and just below its most modern development. It'll be set right in the heart of the Malahat community, so it'll be in walking distance to everyone in the nation. It'll have a nice view that overlooks the Saanich Inlet. As part of our overall plan, there will be some park space and some green space, but there will be as part of our early childhood development program, there will be a playground constructed that's attached to the building, and it'll utilize equipment and materials that were provided by Rotary South Shawnigan Lake chapter. Definitely early in 2014, the building will be completed and we'll use it immediately. This all has to come back to support the nation and what it says is important, and what the people have told us is that, you know, the future of their young people is critical and integral, and we need to do more and be better at helping those young folks live in a modern world and remember where they come from. Not to live in the past, but to remember the past so that it can help better inform them in the future.
Well, the youth are just out here sitting on the porch using Wi-Fi on their phone. But it would be really awesome to see the youth to have something like a youth center, some wise, you know.
Yeah, what we're doing, because when I was younger, we didn't really have a whole lot to play around with, or we didn't have anybody trying to help us with our homework or anything like that. And I just think it's really awesome that we're having something being done around here. And I think that in the long run, it's probably going to be really good for the youth that we're having it up there, because it's showing them that people actually care about them.
Being excited, and I'm hoping we build the playgrounds within that area as well. So I have a lot of high hopes for the building.
Recognizing what the nation members have said they want. They want a place where their young people can go and learn. They want a place where their language and culture can be invigorated and where it can survive. A library, a support for people.
A place like that where workshops, like I said, for our youth and children to learn basket weaving, to learn how to make regalia, and also a place where they could have language workshops for our children, and anything that I think that they might need to follow up on, like if there's a family gathering going on, this is a good place to have a family gathering, and even a community gathering. We're in between Saanich area and Cowichan area, and getting our children or members or elders to any kind of a gathering, whether it's a workshop or anything like that, even sports, soccer and whatnot. And Saanich is quite a distance, and then Cowichan is quite a distance. Not everyone has vehicles. So I think with this coming up here, the children will have a place to go, the membership will have a place to go, and the elders will have a place to go, whether it be workshops or teachings or things like that. So I think it's going to be a plus for our community members.
It's intended to bridge that gap between Malahat's history and where they come from, in terms of that culture and that practice, with modern day, where technology is so prevalent in the way that we learn and interact and engage and in fact understand each other. And so in order for Malahat to survive and be a big and bold and beautiful nation, these things have to find some way to be woven together. And it's our hope that that facility would provide the foundation, if you like, for that, right? The building isn't going to solve problems, but the building is going to create a place where problems can be solved. This effort for Kwanew Kwasun is a result of some really good folks opening their hearts up and sharing their treasures. And whether it's the chief and council who endorsed this and said, yes, make this happen, or whether it's Rotary or Government House or any one of the other businesses that are contributing or supporting this event, I don't think we can say thank you enough to all those people.
Your contribution will
provide us with the tools to carry on
the legacy of our people
and ensure that development and delivery
of programs for our community.
Please remember that your support will make the difference.